Before ink ever touched paper, humanity struggled with a single question: how can memory outlive the mind? Thousands of years ago, words were fleeting, spoken, and forgotten. But then came the first attempts to capture them. In Mesopotamia, around 3200 BCE, the Sumerians began pressing wedge-shaped symbols into wet clay with reed styluses. These clay tablets, once baked in the sun, became humanity's first books, heavy, indestructible, and eternal. Every symbol marked a contract, a prayer, or a royal decree. This innovation, writing itself, transformed the world. Knowledge could now exist outside of memory. In the hot valleys of the Tigris and Euphrates, temples became the first archives. Thousands of tablets filled their shelves, recording harvests, taxes, and myths. The earliest literature, the Epic of Gilgamesh, survived because someone etched it into clay. From that moment on, civilization and the written word were forever bound together. But clay was not kind to the hands of scribes. It was too heavy, too fragile, too slow. In Egypt, around 3000 BCE, people found a new medium, papyrus. Made from the reed-like papyrus plant that grew along the Nile, it was sliced into thin strips, laid crosswise, pressed, and dried. The result was light, flexible, and perfect for ink. For the first time, writing could move, carried by merchants, scholars, and ships. Egypt became the first publishing empire. Papyrus spread across the Mediterranean. The Greeks used it to record philosophy and poetry, and the Romans turned it into a tool of administration. Scrolls filled entire libraries, like the legendary Library of Alexandria, which stored hundreds of thousands of papyrus rolls. Yet papyrus had limits. It decayed with humidity, tore easily, and depended entirely on Egypt's exports. When that supply faltered, scholars began searching for alternatives. One answer came from the city of Pergamon in Asia Minor during the 2nd century BCE. There, artisans developed parchment, thin sheets made from treated animal skins, usually sheep or goats. It was durable, could be written on both sides, and lasted for centuries. It also inspired a new form of the book, the codex, where sheets were stacked and bound, allowing readers to flip through pages rather than unroll a scroll. This small change shaped the modern book. The Greeks and Romans embraced parchment, and for 1,000 years it remained the primary writing surface of Europe. On it, monks and scholars copied the works of Aristotle, Plato, and Homer by hand, ensuring that ancient knowledge survived through wars, fires, and time. Each page could take hours to create, each letter a mark of patience and devotion. In dimly lit monasteries, the memory of the ancient world was quietly rewritten onto animal skin. Meanwhile, far from Europe, another revolution was brewing. In ancient China, scholars had long experimented with new materials: silk, bamboo, and even bone. But silk was costly and bamboo too heavy. Around 105 CE, the court official Cai Luan presented to the Han Emperor an invention that would change civilization: paper. He pulped mulberry bark, rags, and old fishing nets into a soft mash, pressed and dried it, and created a surface light, smooth, and cheap. Paper was revolutionary because it democratized writing. For the first time, knowledge wasn't limited to the wealthy or the powerful. From imperial edicts to poetry, everything could be recorded with ease. Art and bureaucracy flourished together. Paper spread across China, carried by scholars and merchants along the Silk Road. By the 8th century, through trade and conquest, the art of papermaking reached Samarkand, then the heart of the Islamic world. The Islamic scholars improved the craft, using linen and hemp instead of bark, and built the first paper mills. Their cities, Baghdad, Damascus, and Cordoba, became centers of learning. Libraries multiplied, and knowledge from Greece, India, and Persia merged. On this new material, scientists wrote treatises on mathematics and medicine, philosophers debated reason and faith, and poets preserved their visions. Paper became the carrier of the Golden Age. From the Islamic world, paper slowly journeyed into Europe. By the 12th century, mills had appeared in Spain and Italy. For the first time, Europe could produce its own books at scale. Universities grew, literacy expanded, and scholars rediscovered the ancient texts that monks had guarded for centuries. Aristotle's works, copied countless times from papyrus to parchment to paper, now circulated among students, the same ideas reborn on a new medium. Then came the spark that ignited an explosion of knowledge. Around 1440, in the German city of Mainz, Johannes Gutenberg perfected the movable type printing press. By combining oil-based ink with mass-producible metal letters and durable paper, he made it possible to print hundreds of identical pages in a single day. His first masterpiece, the Gutenberg Bible, symbolized a new age. The written word was no longer a privilege, it was power. Printing transformed the world. Books became cheaper, and ideas spread faster than any empire could control. The Renaissance, the Reformation, and the scientific revolution all depended on the printed page. Kings, popes, and philosophers found their voices multiplied across continents. The more paper flowed from presses, the more revolutions brewed, political, religious, intellectual. Yet paper was not only for books. It became the medium of daily life for letters, money, maps, art, and identity. Governments printed decrees, explorers charted oceans, and artists found in paper a new freedom of expression. Entire civilizations began to depend on this fragile substance, made of nothing more than plant fiber and water. Paper became the quiet infrastructure of the modern age. As demand grew, papermaking evolved from handcraft to industry. In 1798, a French inventor named Nicolas Louis Robert created the first continuous papermaking machine, allowing rolls of paper to be produced endlessly. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the demand for paper became insatiable. Newspapers, letters, documents, the world was now writing constantly. Mills replaced rags with wood pulp, and machines like the Ford-Renier press could produce endless rolls in minutes. Paper became not just a tool of scholars, but the fabric of daily life. It was the era of handwritten letters, the most personal form of communication. Love, war, diplomacy, all traveled by envelope. The rustle of paper became the sound of human connection. Then came the age of bureaucracy and education. Notebooks, newspapers, legal documents, passports. Every corner of modern society depended on paper. To bring order to the growing chaos, in 1922 Germany introduced the DN standard, giving us the familiar A4 format, perfectly balanced in proportion and efficiency. That same format spread worldwide, symbolizing the precision of a new industrial age. Even today, in the digital age, paper holds a strange power. We still trust it more than a screen for signatures, art, passports, and memory. Paper burns, tears, and fades, yet feels eternal. It invites touch, smell, and silence, things no technology can replace. It is the last physical link between thought and matter, between idea and world. From clay tablets to quantum storage, humanity has always sought to remember. But it was paper that made memory human, light enough to carry, strong enough to endure, and simple enough to change everything. Every book, every note, every sketch is a continuation of that ancient dream, to preserve the soul in ink. Paper is not just a material. It is the fragile skin of civilization, and through it, the world learned to write itself. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment to join the journey through history. See you in the next video.